movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. And we will make America great again.
You know, brothers and sisters, for all these programs, we watch that introduction and we hear President Trump promising we will make America great again. We see the wonderful faces on those American patriots like you and I are, and we say, yes, 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 this is what we must do. Tonight it feels different, doesn't it? We know that this is what we have now another chance to do. This is awesome, and we are here tonight to celebrate that. Janet Morana, our executive director, is with me. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here of Priests for Life, and Pro-Life Vote. That's what we called our election efforts.
That's
that
right.
was your time. You came up with that.
Yeah, I came up with the idea because
Pro-Life Vote.
Because that's what we are. We are pro-life, and we want to save the unborn and their moms from the horrors of abortion. And so to make it easier, I remember years ago we had it was called Political
Responsibility, right, .com, yeah.
Yeah, I said, oh, come on. That's too hard for some. Pro-life vote, let's keep it simple.
Pro-life vote is simpler, right.
Exactly.
Right.
And, we're going to talk tonight, first of all, we're going to pray, but then we're going to talk about what happened. But then I want to talk about, your action has to happen now. Your first action was you voted. Thank you, everyone, for voting. God bless you.
Everyone came through.
Came through.
In a big way.
In a big way. But then we're going to talk about it doesn't stop here.
Right.
We're going to have to engage in this whole process because now it's kind of like we got to get in the boat with Trump and the whole new Congress, and we got to help row that boat.
And people voted, we were emphasizing two things. Vote down, obviously vote for President Trump. Then we vote down ballot. Don't just vote for Trump and leave the Congress blank, because then you're not giving them the backup. We got the backup. We got the House, we got the Senate, which is absolutely awesome.
It's awesome.
We're going to go into more detail. The House, they're still finalizing, but we know we've got it.
We got the numbers, that's it.
But then the other thing was, we were urging people right up through yesterday, popular vote. We got to win the popular vote. And this is where it came. I remember one of the things we were saying, and a lot of other broadcasters were saying the same thing. We were saying, look, no matter how blue your state is, no matter how red your state is, vote nevertheless.
That's right.
Because the popular vote
counts.
It does get counted.
It gets counted.
And it's a big, big talking point, and it's a big, big tool that now we can say we have a mandate. President Trump has a mandate. The other side, otherwise, if they got the popular vote, they would say,
Well, that's where they would be saying we have to get rid of the Electoral College. But
that's right.
Our founders were so brilliant in how they created our republic, and having that, it was a safeguard. It really was.
Well, if you take away the Electoral College, like they still want to do, then you might as well take away the notion of states.
Right.
What you're trying to do really, I have no idea. Look, the left has no understanding of the Constitution because they don't care about the Constitution.
Right.
But if you take away the Electoral College, well, then you might as well take away the Senate and the states, because it's like you have one big state is what you're really aiming for.
Yeah.
Which isn't what we have. We have 50. Yesterday, we didn't have one election yesterday. We had 50 state elections. That's what we had. Plus, of course, the District of Columbia, and then we had our territories. But we had different elections.
And the popular vote, we didn't just win it by a little bit. 5 million votes.
We won it by substantially, yes.
Substantial.
That's a mandate.
That's a mandate. So do you want to start with
It's
prayer?
Great. Well, we want to do that. We want to thank you. We want to thank you, brothers and sisters. We did it. We came through. Everybody came through. And I always like to think, Jenna, here's the thing. President Trump has been saying this, friends, from the beginning. I've been reminding you of it. We. He loves the word we, not I. People on the left, they don't understand him. They don't want to understand him.
No.
And they think he's some kind of egomaniac. Brothers and sisters, he constantly emphasizes it is we who are running for 47th president. And now we can say it is we who have won the presidency, because we're a movement. These hats that we have, you have the black one. Yeah, dark. Is that dark MAGA like Elon?
Well, I have to tell you, Elon. I want you to know that I bought this last year before you even dove into
before
the thing.
Black MAGA. Yeah.
I was
dark
the original
MAGA,
dark MAGA. Yeah. I was okay. Me, not Elon. So
What he's right near us, by the way. We're right here nearby.
Oh yeah, SpaceX.
Elon is like in our backyard every day with the
with his rockets.
His rockets are shaking our building every day.
And I remember when I bought this great black hat, we were at a conference, and you said, "Oh, you're going to get another red hat," and they had different designs on them. I said, "No, I want something different," so I got the black hat. And then, of course, when Elon copied me, I just want to go down on record. Elon copied Janet. So,
but I want to point out, but I brought up the hats because it shows it's a movement. Right. It's us, we. President Trump says, look, this is not about me, both in terms of the positive thing about it. Who won? We won.
We won.
Because he brings power back to the people. And also because
of... And also, he didn't need to do this.
Exactly.
I know his sons say that all the time.
All the time. He didn't need to do this.
He could be sitting on a beach somewhere like Biden, Sleepy Joe was doing.
He's got fame and fortune.
Fame, fortune,
success.
Beautiful family, success. Yeah. He didn't have to do it.
No, it shows love.
He thinks like we think. I mean, because I have children and grandchildren, and so does he.
Yeah.
And he says to himself, I got to step in here and fix this. I don't want to leave this to my grandchildren.
And it's based on the question. He's explained this multiple times. Is this something I can fix?
Right. Exactly.
Is there a problem? Yes, there's a problem. Can I do something to help fix it? I think I can. Right. He's actually very humble. He's much more humble than people give him credit for. Yeah, I think I can, and that's where he took the gamble of running. He had been thinking of running for a long time, right? So he ran, he won, and now he ran and he won again. This is awesome. He's only the second president in history who has had 2 consecutive terms. He's about to have his second. 2 non-consecutive terms.
Right.
Grover Cleveland was the only other one. He was both the 22nd and the 24th president of the United States. This is back in the late 19th century. So President Trump, he always makes history.
Yeah.
Right? He always makes history.
Like I said, we're both from New York, but especially me, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. So Trump's dad actually made his fortune building apartment buildings, like right by the neighborhood, right near where I grew up.
You were, right.
And he did them in Brooklyn and in Queens, made his fortune. But you know something? He taught Trump a real lesson, because what he said to Donald was, when he turned 21, don't think you're getting my fortune.
Right.
I don't have to give it to you. I'm going to give you now, Donald, $1 million. That's a lot of money. I wish I had someone give me $1 million. But he said to him, now you make your way in this world. You take that money and you grow it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And people laugh, he was on that TV show, The Apprentice, where he says, you're fired. But that's the way he conducted his business. If you talk to anybody that worked for him, the people in the hotels and all that he built and the golf courses and all that. Let me tell you, if you did a good job, he treated you wonderfully.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do a good job, you were fired. And that's, in his first 4 years, people say, well, how come, he had a turnover? Because he saw people, that he gave the job to when he first got in office weren't doing so good. He got rid of them.
Yeah. He knows how to get
and then the danger
done.
there is they write a book against you when you tell them you're not doing your job and you fire them. So it's like, But you know what he said too? He said, this time it's going to be different. I forget who interviewed him, because I watched a lot of this. And he said, no, I know the pitfalls now not to get into them again. So he understands how Washington works. And I just can't wait to hear who's his cabinet going to be and the different jobs he's going to get.
So we know that the first administration was historic accomplishments.
Yes.
I'm going to make a prediction here. This one is going to be 10 times more productive.
Oh,
10
sure.
times.
Yes.
10 times. First of all, he's going into it. Here's the significance of winning the House, keeping the House, I should say, and increasing the margin. If it were a Democrat House, now, first of all, that would have been historically odd, because it would have been a flip of the Senate in one direction and a flip of the House in the opposite direction. That would have been an anomaly in and of itself.
It would have.
But I think everyone realizes if we didn't keep the House, what's the first thing a Democrat House would do in a second Trump administration?
Oh, Jeffrey,
Impeachment.
impeachment.
Yeah. And you go, oh, what did he do wrong? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
the whole point. He didn't do anything wrong the other 2 times either.
No.
And they would make something up, and it would be impeachment, impeachment, impeachment. Not that they think they would be able to get him out of office. They wouldn't be able to because we have a Republican Senate. But that doesn't matter to them either.
They want
It's distraction.
distraction.
It's 2 things. Distraction of the public from all the good that he's doing.
Right.
And number 2, distraction of his team and their attention and their time and their resources into dealing with the impeachment rather than serving the American people.
Right.
So, but we don't have that now. We don't have that.
And I'm just so excited because, especially on the Senate side, from New York, we have to say goodbye, Chuck Schumer. Bye.
Schumer.
You're no longer saying what bills can come to the floor for a vote.
What a.
But what's beautiful is, and I guess everyone realizes this, but all the chairmanship of all the committees will be in the control of the Republicans.
Hey,
now.
Listen, our friend, we got to give credit, Steve Daines.
Yes. He did a terrific job. Really.
Senator from Montana.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours. He's been on this program. We see him in Washington, D.C. In fact, I saw him after the Republican National Convention, which, as you know, I attended as a guest. In the airport going home after the convention was finished, I saw him in we were together in the lounge,
Yeah.
And it was like, Senator, thank you so much. Because he headed up the effort to get Senate candidates elected.
Exactly.
So he deserves credit for us flipping the Senate.
That's right.
And,
so what people don't realize is all these different committees, whatever party has control, which would now be the Republicans, they have then more people on that committee. There's some Democrats and Republicans, but then they have the majority, and then there's one Republican who's the head of that committee.
Well, one of our viewers put, we had the comment up there a moment ago, don't forget about the Supreme Court.
Right.
And the Supreme Court, again, our friends, our conservative friends on the court, they're getting older.
Well, yes.
Okay, I mean,
especially Justice Thomas.
You never know.
One of the senior ones.
And the other thing about it is
all
the other judges, other federal judges.
Exactly.
He'll appoint a few hundred more. I mean, he appointed a few hundred the first time. Now, unfortunately, Biden didn't get as many as he got in, but he got a couple of hundred too.
Right.
Now we're going to have yet another few hundred coming out of Trump. So
that's right.
This is really, and you see, that's what I always said about people that, no matter what reservations or aversions they might have to President Trump, I said, listen, be patient, deal with it for 4 years. It's better to deal for 4 years with something you don't like about somebody than to deal for 40 years with their judges that you don't like. Because that's how long they're gonna be issuing decisions.
That's right.
Way after the presidential administration has gone into the history books, these judges that they appoint are still going to be making decisions. 40 years.
And look at it this way too: your votes, brothers and sisters, kept Kamala Harris.
That's the accomplishment right there.
That's the major accomplishment.
It kept her out.
It's like the first time around for Trump, you stopped Hillary.
Yeah.
Well, now you stopped. And if you thought Hillary was going to be bad on abortion and the issues that are brought to us,
worse.
Kamala is to the 10th power.
I want to put Matea's comment up. We know Matea Murta. It's great to see her here. And did I put her comment up there? Go ahead. She said, this was an election of faith and action.
Exactly.
Perfectly combined, right? Perfect faith and action. So you said about prayer. All right. So we're going to say a couple of prayer. I want to do a scripture here. And then we're going to say a psalm of thanksgiving. For his mercy endures forever. I'll say the verse. Janet and all of you together can say the response. And but I want to start with a reading from the book of Lamentations. This is one of my favorite passages. Because Lamentations is lament, right? As the name suggests, after the exile. The Babylonians came in, they burned the city, Jerusalem, the temple. It was a terrible situation. But the book of Lamentations expresses their depths of grief and distress. Now, we have been in distress in America over these last 4 years. Oh. And so in a sense, you can say the book of Lamentations is very appropriate for the way we're looking at how America's been treated. And yet, right in the middle of the book is a cry of hope. And this now is a hope that we can read as what God fulfilled last night for us. Listen to this passage. This I will call to mind as my reason to have hope. The favors of the Lord are not exhausted. His mercies are not spent. They are renewed each morning. So great is his faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. It is good to hope in silence for the saving help of the Lord. Isn't that America right now?
Right.
Because we were looking at not only the destruction of the open border,
Right.
the terrible inflation, the international disasters and embarrassments like Afghanistan. That really started turning the tide against Biden and the Democrats. The American people never forgot that withdrawal from Afghanistan that they actually maintained was a success. And we all knew was a disastrous, embarrassing failure that helped to destabilize the world. And unlike the peace that we had under President Trump, he didn't get us into a single war.
Right.
On the other hand, he wiped the terrorists off the face of the earth. Biden gets in and the world explodes.
Yeah.
Russia,
Terrible.
Ukraine, Israel, Hamas, the Palestinians. What is going on? China becoming more aggressive, Iran and funding Iran. What I'm saying is, the Book of Lamentations expresses all this distress that we've had. And then there was the distress, not to mention the fentanyl, the crime in our neighborhoods, et cetera, and abortion. And then the distress of looking at what this election was going to do or could have done. People were in a whole range of anxieties yesterday. I mean, everything leading up to
I
it.
woke up yesterday morning full of anxiety.
It's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, what's going to happen, you know?
So,
and that's why I stayed up, brothers and sisters. If I look a little tired, 3:30 this morning, I watched his speech, and you went to bed. You said,
well, I have a philosophy about election night.
I know. The Lord pours out his mercies while you slumber.
In fact, I want to read that psalm too. We're going to pray Psalm 136. But I'm going to tell you my philosophy about election night, and it's worked well for me. But let's go to Psalm 136. And pray in thanksgiving for this great and tremendous victory. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods,
for his mercy endures forever.
Give thanks to the Lord of lords,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who alone does great wonders,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who by his understanding made the heavens,
for his mercy endures forever.
Who spread out the earth above the waters,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who made the great lights,
for his mercy endures forever.
The sun to rule over the day,
for his mercy endures forever.
The moon and the stars to rule over the night,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who struck down the firstborn of the Egyptians,
for his mercy endures forever.
And brought Israel out from their midst,
for his mercy endures forever.
With a strong hand and an outstretched arm,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who split the Red Sea in two,
for his mercy endures forever.
And made Israel pass through its midst,
for his mercy endures forever.
But overthrew Pharaoh and his host into the Red Sea,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who led his people through the wilderness,
for his mercy endures forever.
To him who struck down great kings,
for his mercy endures forever.
And slew powerful kings,
for his mercy endures forever.
Sihon, king of the Amorites,
for his mercy endures forever.
And Og, the king of Bashan,
for his mercy endures forever.
And gave their land as a heritage,
for his mercy endures forever.
A heritage to Israel his servant.
For his mercy endures forever.
It was he who remembered us in our lowliness,
for his mercy endures forever.
And rescued us from all our foes.
For his mercy endures forever.
He who gives food to all living things,
for his mercy endures forever.
To the God of heaven give thanks,
for his mercy endures forever.
He rescued us from our foes. I was studying with our people that book of Mark Levin, the Democrat Party hates America. It's true. It's literally true. They are our enemies. And he delivered us. God delivered us from our enemies. This is awesome. And, as we were saying, the second term of President Trump is going to be way more productive than the first, not only for the reasons we already mentioned, but because he knows the players now better than ever. Remember, he came into Washington as a real outsider.
Oh, yeah.
But now he knows where all the skeletons are.
He knows the good, the bad,
He knows
the
the
ugly.
good. Yeah, he knows
He
what
knows
he's
it all.
doing, and he has a team. Now, remember, next week I'm going to be in Mar-a-Lago, and I'm going to see the team there of the America First Policy Institute. Now, you know these people too. A lot of them were cabinet members and administration officials of President Trump in his first term. They decided when the first term is over, just in case for some of you out there that don't know about this, they decided when the first term was finished that they'd stick together.
Right.
They said, listen, we can't let this momentum stop. Now, these people are, again, President Trump knows full well he can't do this by himself. He put together a team that's just unbelievable, right? And they said, look, well, this is the engine behind the success of President Trump. We got to keep this going because eventually there's going to be another Republican administration. And they were saying, hopefully in another 4 years, which now it turned out to be the case. But they said, let's keep this going so that if and when, and they were hoping, of course, that he would come back, but they were ready for any Republican administration, whether it would have been DeSantis or et cetera. And they said, we're going to work on policy. We're going to work on executive orders. We're going to just keep developing better and better. And they also, have in mind like who would serve in the administration. A lot of them, I'm sure, he's going to call them back again.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To be part of the administration. But this is so smart because you know what happens? I think a lot of people don't realize this. A presidential administration starts on January 20th. But are the thousands of positions that serve the president's agenda in the federal government, are they all filled on day one?
No.
And the answer is no. In fact, some of them aren't filled even years into the administration, and you only have 4. So it's like the more people who are in place earlier on, the more you're going to get done.
Well, now I'm sure he's already starting the meetings of figuring out his cabinet
today.
and all
Today
that.
he started, no doubt.
Already,
this guy doesn't waste any time.
But people don't realize about Mar-a-Lago, and I've been there with you. And so what happens is with Mar-a-Lago is, you may not realize, the downstairs part, there's beautiful ballrooms and meeting rooms, and
the artwork is out of this world.
Gorgeous. Yeah. There's, I think, a pool. And they even have a golf course and, all that stuff. Okay. But then at the very top floor of it, it's a whole thing. That's the residence for Trump and his family.
Right.
And excuse me, like J.D. Vance went there last night. Where do you think they stayed? Yeah. They stayed up there, And so when you say you're going to be there next week for the America First policy, I know I was there once for one of those meetings. And guess what happens, guys? He comes down. He like at a certain point, it's like you never know, and it's not a big announcement. It's suddenly look who walks in the room.
Right,
and everyone's like,
right.
And I remember I had my cell phone. I was taking pictures. I mean, he was almost as close to me.
Yeah,
as
of course.
He's
right just now. With you in the room,
and he just walks in, greets people. He's just so like when he's there at Mar-a-Lago, he's down to earth, very down to earth.
Yeah,
I remember I enjoyed seeing him like that. So I'm gonna be jealous. You're going there next week. I can't go. You're going. So all right. But tell them about why you.
Yeah. Let me read some. My philosophy of election night is Psalm 127. If the Lord does not build a house, in vain do the builders labor. If the Lord does not watch over the city, in vain does the watchman keep vigil. In vain is your earlier rising, your going later to rest. You who toil for the bread you eat, while he pours gifts on his beloved while they slumber. Now, we all know this is God's work. Like Matteo was saying, it's faith and action together. Right. We got to pray as if everything depends on God, work as if everything depends on us. So we work like crazy for the elections. Once it comes to election night and the polls have closed, my philosophy is, all right, we did everything we could do. The votes have been cast. And I'm just not one. I know a lot of our friends do this, our colleagues, and you do it. Where you sit and you wait. The results come in, inch by inch, and it's like, you're going like this. I prefer to go to sleep. So the votes, when the polls close, I close. I go to sleep. And then I wake up, who knows? Last night I was starting to wake up around 3:30. And actually I slept till 5. And I said, okay, I just want to see all the results at once. Just let me just see it. Give it to me all at once. And that's what I did. And he pours out gifts on his beloved while they slumber. But I fully understand those that watch parties, let's see the result. That's fun. That's fun too, you see you're cheering
when I first
but it's
started watching
agonizing though.
I was nervous.
That's what I mean.
I was nervous.
That's what I mean.
First started watching. I said, oh, come on, he's going to win. When Pennsylvania got
that was it, right?
That was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, now we're going to have
now
a
we got
now
it.
We're going to get it. Now we're going to go. It was terrific.
Yeah.
And when they said, he was going to come and speak to everybody, I was just, this is it.
I think we have a guest. We have one of our pastoral team members. Let's talk to Brian. Then we're going to look at the results a little bit more closely.
Okay.
But Mr. Brian Kemper, tell
Brian is head of our street activism and youth outreach. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Hello. How are we doing tonight?
We are joyful tonight.
Yeah. So Brian, of course, everyone doesn't know, he lives up in Troy, Ohio. In fact, he's so proud that J.D. Vance was picked as the VP candidate.
He knows J.D.
He knows
read
JD.
my book.
He's
read my book.
But Brian, on election day, he told us, I'm going to go with my Trump signs. And, at the polls, as you know, brothers and sisters, there's a certain number of feet that everybody with signs has to stay. And that's where you have to be.
But you can be there with your signs.
You can be there. It's totally legal. Like you saw here in Florida. Oh, my God. People were putting up tents because of the sun and giving out literature, but they were at that appointed spot. So, Brian, I know you went to a lot of different places, but on one particular polling place, there was a problem.
Uh-oh.
Tell everybody where you were and what was the problem.
Well, as you guys know, I do this every election. I like to go to the polls. I like to talk to people. I know that yesterday I was able to convince 3 different people to vote for our Jonathan Newman, who ran for state representative here in Ohio, one of my neighbors, a local pastor, and an incredible pro-life man who ended up winning. So I was super excited. But I went to a local Catholic church, which, as the pastoral team member of Priests for Life, I'm thinking going to a Catholic church, that's my home. But this one didn't really seem to like our message. And they're set way back off the road where the polling place is. So I walked up to where they have the 100-foot flag. And the church parking lot's full of people who come to vote and park there. And the church sent 6 people out to confront me, to tell me that I wasn't welcome there. And I explained, well, I'm past the 100-foot mark. I'm perfectly welcome. You guys are a polling place. This is public property today. You don't get to pick and choose who comes on the church grounds if you're a polling place. And so they called the police, and 3 different cops show up. One of them, a supervisor, actually came over to talk to me. We were friends. He knows me. He was like, hey, how you doing? But one particular cop who had a bee in her bonnet decided that no, I was trespassing, and so she wrote me a ticket. What's funny is I was just about to leave, but ended up standing there for 45 extra minutes with my Trump sign. Lots of people telling me I'm doing the good job and not to worry about what was happening. But I got a ticket and for trespassing at a Catholic church for standing up for life.
Wow. But the police came. Why? Because the church called them?
Yeah.
The church called them. Yeah.
See, they were getting paid to be a polling place. People, you got to understand that.
Yeah, maybe you should think. Maybe they should have thought twice before doing that. If going to complain about someone being there,
because he was perfectly, like he said, within the boundary of where you're allowed to electioneer. They call it no electioneering beyond this point. That's what it means. He was within the correct distance, and yet they didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I wanted you to tell that story because, and I'm sure many of our people can mention in the comments too, that the response of the churches in this election, again, it was a mixed bag. There were a lot of pastors that stood up. We helped them to do so.
Right.
But there's within the Catholic community, and of course our evangelical brothers and sisters will say, hey, we got the same problem. But within the Catholic community where we have most of our experience, there is this allergic reaction, we call it, right? To anything political. It's like, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised that they volunteered to be a polling place in the first place.
Right.
You know, but
well, I have to say something about the Catholic bishops here in America. Shame on you, because it was like crickets. The silence. It was deafening. It was like, come on, shepherds. Where's the shepherds? Right? I mean, you know, I can remember in prior elections. You remember Archbishop Chaput?
Oh, yeah, he was always
Bishop
good.
Olmsted.
Oh,
there are some
we
of
got
them.
A lot of these guys, they're
so
retired now.
Vocal, and
Yeah.
of course Cardinal O'Connor, our favorite. I mean, they were so vocal, but this year it was like I don't know. I think there was a silence that they were afraid to open their mouths. It was unbelievable.
And Janet and Frank, one of the things that we have to remember, and I know you guys understand this. One of the reasons you've had me, you know, direct activism at Priests for Life is holding our ground. They came up to me and they thought, well, can you do us a favor and just like go stand way over there at the street?
No, because I want to reach this audience.
And where I couldn't talk to anyone. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting, well, they would like it. I'm like, I don't care what they would like.
No,
I'm going to talk to people as they go to the polls. I bought myself an extra 45 minutes. So what? I got a ticket. I don't care if they put me in handcuffs. It doesn't matter. We cannot back down. And that's the reason I voted for Donald Trump for president, because he knows we cannot back down.
That is right. That is right. That is right.
Well, Brian, congratulations.
Yes, good work. Good work.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us here tonight, Brian, and we'll be talking with you again soon, I'm sure.
All right, we'll talk later. God bless.
Regards to J.D. Vance.
God bless.
J.D. Vance. Well, his Senate seat, of course, will be the governor now has to make an appointment. So it's a Republican governor. So we'll get a Republican senator. But that's how it works. The governor of Ohio makes an appointment to the Senate seat. But then whoever that senator will be, he'll get in there because it's an appointment, not an election. But he'll have to run in a special election next election, not next year, in 2026. In the midterms.
The midterms. All right.
But it'll be a special election. None that wouldn't have normally been scheduled.
You know, it's like a seat. And you know what I really love about this whole thing with J.D. Vance is in 4 years now, you know, the Republican Party, we got a pretty deep bench.
We do. We got a lot of great people.
So I'm looking,
unlike the Democrats.
Yeah, theirs is kind of weak. But in 4 years,
weak and weird.
Weak and weird. That's true. And they were the ones calling our people weird.
Imagine they called J.D. Vance weird. I was like, what's that all about?
You know, he was fantastic in all these interviews.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Well, you remember when we on this program when we were talking about the VP selection? There was that period of the election where okay, what's the VP selection going to be? Our viewers will remember me talking about what I thought was one of the key characteristics that a VP selection had to have, that he could handle the media.
And he was
and
fantastic.
He checked that box perfectly.
Yeah. But think about this now. We're going to have, after the 4 years, I'm sure JD is going to run, right?
I would hope.
And then, who he picks to run with him. Like, of course, I'm a DeSantis fan, so let's go DeSantis.
Yeah, who knows? You could have a Vance DeSantis ticket.
A Vance DeSantis. But you could have JD then for 8 years.
Yes.
See, what this reminds me of, I think you were
It was Newt Gingrich. It was at the
Gingrich.
Catholic, it was at the dinner for the Catholic outreach.
Back in the Bush.
Was it Bush or maybe the first Trump election?
Oh, it might have been first Trump. It was first Trump. It was first Trump.
Yeah.
And you got to listen to this, brothers and sisters, because this is genius.
Yeah, put this in your mind.
Put this in your mind.
Yeah.
Newt Gingrich said to our group, listen, this is, right now we play ping pong, he said. It's back and forth. Who's in control? Like
we were talking about the judges, right? Trump put a couple of hundred in, but then Biden puts a couple of hundred in.
So he said, it says 4 years or 8 years, then the other team comes up to bat.
Yeah.
He said, so the country does this. It's a seesaw thing.
Yeah.
He said, we want to fix this country and get it totally back to what our founding fathers wanted. And it's conservative and respects religion
and really eradicate the deep state and the bad judges.
We need 16 straight years.
That's what we need.
So, brothers and sisters, start putting.
Let's set our mind to that right now.
Let's set our minds to that, because It's within the realm of possibility.
It sure is.
Because now we got Trump. Hopefully, God willing, JD will do a great job, and he'll want to run. He could possibly get 8, and then who runs with him could go.
Yeah.
From that, we could get more than, please God, more than 16 years.
No, we need
fix the mess.
Well, that's what we need. Well, it's not outside. Look, the Dems have controlled 12 of the last 16.
Right.
Why can't we control 16 of the next 16?
Exactly.
Right? And get we got Trump, just 4 more years of President Trump, 8 years of JD, and then whoever
so
his.
Listen, guys, doesn't that get you excited?
Yeah, that's
because we have a way to fix this once and
because
for
then
all.
you purge it deep. You purge it. You get the deep state out of there, especially with President Trump implementing what's called Schedule F. I'm sure most of our viewers are quite familiar with that. Schedule F means that these federal bureaucrats who might not be sympathetic to the goals of the administration, they think they own the place. They work deep in these agencies. Nobody knows who they are, but they have a lot of influence. And they don't necessarily follow the president's agenda. It's like, wait a minute, if you're not following the president's agenda, we elected the president, we didn't elect you. And we know why we elected the president. We want certain policies. Who are you? Who are you? You're supposed to be serving the administration. He should have the right, and he's going to take back the power now. This is one of the things that has them scared to death, that Schedule F, President Trump is going to do this.
So what is
where he can get rid of them. He can fire them.
Oh, he can say you're fired.
You're fired.
Oh, he loves that
Trump.
phrase.
Oh,
we know he likes that phrase.
No, but he should be using it for these deep state people who, this is one of the other reasons why in this administration, like I predicted, 10 times, mark my word, 10 times more he's going to get done. Because in the previous administration, one of the things he was dealing with was these deep state operatives that and I talked with some of them, by the way, I know exactly what's going on here. They either slow walk the orders of the president, say, okay, we're going to, we're going to close the border, we're going to get control of immigration, we're going to deport people, which is already federal law. People are not here supposed to be deported.
Get the heck out.
But the president doesn't just implement all these things all by himself.
No.
You've got thousands of people working in all these different offices to make this happen. Well, if you got somebody there who's not as enthusiastic about the agenda as we all are, they slow walk it. Okay, and they take their time implementing it. Or what's worse, some of them, there's 2 worse levels after that. Some of them don't do anything at all. They're told to do something, they don't do it.
Right.
And then there's the 3rd level. They actually do the opposite. They're in the federal administration, in that big bureaucracy, and they're working opposite the will of the elected people, the will of the people who elected the president. This is why, so Elon was talking about this. So he's going to have a big role here in the Office of Government Efficiency, right?
Oh,
this
boy.
Department, they think they're going to call it DOGE, D-O-G-E, the Department of Government Efficiency. He was talking about this just the other day. He said, listen, the government doesn't even know how many agencies there are. There's like 400 and some odd agencies.
That's crazy.
The country's only 250 years old. We're going to be on our 200. By the way, that's another reason I'm so happy President Trump was elected. He's going to preside over the 250th birthday of the country. So can you imagine if the Democrats hate America? What kind of 250th birthday celebration would they preside over? That would be awful. We're going to have President Trump. Can you imagine the kind of day? July 4th, 2026, right? 250 years from 1776. All right, that's a little side point, but we could be excited about that. But the point I'm making is the government, it doesn't even know how many agencies it has, but the country's only 250 years old, and it's like 2 agencies per year of its history have been created. Point is very simple.
Yeah,
when President Trump, I think, is on the same page, Elon is certainly going to push for this. He said, you know what? Let's at least start by doing this. Look at what Congress had in mind when it created the agency.
Right.
And make sure, for starters, that the agency does only what the original intent of the Congress was when it created it. Because what happens is these things get created, and then they have to justify their existence so they take on more and more responsibilities. Bloated bureaucracy is what it's called.
Some of them could be.
And meanwhile, our dollars are paying for all this stuff to function. Meanwhile, we could be using that money for much better things. They are going to clean house. Not just about getting rid of these people who aren't doing the job. Just Schedule F, okay? Everybody, watch for that, because soon after the beginning of this administration, we're going to hear about Schedule F. But we're also going to hear about, hey, they're closing down 100. Can you imagine the headline? Elon Musk under President Trump closes 100 federal agencies.
That's great.
Right? Cut the
That's
cut
one way
the fat
of getting
out of the bureaucracy.
the deficit up.
Well, and
going.
Vivek Ramaswamy talks about this. You know what he says? He says maybe the government ought to be run by the people we actually elect to run the government.
Right.
Because that's not what's happening. We don't know who these people are.
No.
We don't even know who they are.
Well, and also, too, he's got to clean house at the Department of Justice because they've been weaponized against us.
Department of Justice, FBI, Dan Bongino talks about this. He says, hey, listen, you know, there's a lot of great people in there, a lot of loyal people. But at the top, there's too much corruption.
That's right.
And
clean
it's,
house.
you know, they may be able to clean house, but they also may need to just tear the thing down, redistribute the responsibilities, and start over. We're going to look at some of the actual results here. Yeah, some people were asking about Pope Francis. Oh my God, we got some interesting history. We got some interesting history with Pope Francis ourselves. You know, where's that collar? Did I leave my collar in my? Oh, wait a minute, he took it away. Yeah, that's right. No, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the Pope calling Trump to congratulate him.
No, of course not. Of course.
Maybe he did. I don't know for sure. So,
No,
but someone was asking that. Yeah.
No, he did not call. He did not call. No way. It took a lot for Kamala to call him. So you want the Pope to call him?
Hey, did you see her
I saw
her remarks this afternoon?
Yeah, I did.
I
did.
Yeah.
It was like it was just Mm-hmm. I just sat there watching it on the TV saying, well, all I could think about is, okay, just hurry up and you're gone.
Hurry up, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, right,
You're
right,
done.
right.
You're done. It's like
Tim Walz.
She couldn't even, in a nice way, congratulate as in her remarks. She just kind of went.
She did. It was good that she said, "Well, we accept the results of the election."
She accepts the results.
That's very important. And I
important.
told President Trump, "Let's work together for a peaceful transition of power."
Right. That was
the only problem is that she doesn't control the radical left wing, who are not going to be peaceful.
Well, I'll never forget. I think I told you. I reminded you about this story when Clinton's people left the White House.
Yeah. We were there.
We were involved, and because I was part of Catholics for Bush, and what they did was in the executive office building where a lot of them work, they knew, okay, here's our last day at work, right before the inauguration. They literally maliciously took their keyboards and popped off and took the letters in George W. Bush's name, so they couldn't type. Like they basically destroyed the keyboards, and they destroyed a bunch of other stuff. It was terrible. So I hope there is a smooth transition, that they don't do that disruptive, games that they do. It's terrible. It really is bad. But let's just look at, let's see where we are with the results.
Yeah, so Electoral College, first of all. Let's go to the presidency. All right. So right now it stands at 295. I mean, he obviously won the presidency. There's no question about that.
No question.
But there's a couple of states that are still counting votes.
Right.
And we know that he's got those states.
Right.
But they're still finalizing the tally. So we know he's got the states, but we're gonna get the exact numbers. So we're talking about Nevada and Arizona. Okay.
Right.
So if we look at Arizona there, he's got 52% of the vote to her 47. So he's got the state. But there's still, Arizona is filled with corruption. Sad to say. Yes. We know a lot of great people in Arizona. But there is election corruption there, especially Maricopa County. What were they saying? Oh, it's going to take us a couple of weeks to count.
Yeah.
I want to know what are they doing?
I don't know.
What are they doing? What are they doing? It's going to take 2 weeks to count. What?
Here in Florida,
exactly?
we have a great system.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
No, but so 295. That is a nice margin. You need 270 to win. He's got 25 above.
But by the time you get those,
he's going to get Nevada
and
Arizona. Yeah,
we'll be over 300.
Exactly. Look at that. Look how red that map is.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Just awesome.
But I just want to say something about the blue states for a minute, because being an original New Yorker, and then I lived in New Jersey. Do you realize that he was only down 5% in New Jersey? It wasn't like a total washout.
That's right. He cut into the vote count in New York.
Yes.
New Jersey,
Jersey, yeah.
Virginia,
Yeah.
New Hampshire, Minnesota, New Mexico. Some of these states, they were wondering if they might go for him. You know, New Mexico, Minnesota, they were sort of like two-tiered.
And then
like
wasn't New Hampshire another one where they
New
said,
Hampshire.
New Hampshire, you know, like look at
Look
that.
how close.
Look how close.
Yeah. Well,
You
New
know?
Hampshire is the most Republican of the Northeast states, but
and see, that's what was important in those states. That added to the success of him
The
having
popular
the popular
vote,
vote. And that's what we
right.
said. Don't be discouraged if you're in one of those blue states. Your vote counts.
Listen, Alabama. Let's look at the Alabama is also always a crazy. Look at that. Look at that. Well, it was 64.8% of the vote. Some of these states down there. What does Mississippi show? What is Mississippi there?
Mississippi, there we go.
Yeah, similarly,
60,
right?
Like Alabama.
But, you don't sit back and say, oh, well, the state's going for him, I'm not going to vote. No, you vote.
You vote.
Show the full strength of his support.
Of the popular vote and also down the ballot. So that's
So look at that popular vote tally right now, 72,521,000, 50.9%. She only has 47.6%, 67 million.
Right. It's great. I love it.
It's wonderful.
I love it.
All right. So then the U.S. Senate. Now, of course, the U.S. Senate, look, the Senate confirms his cabinet.
Right.
He's going to pick great people. We know that.
Confirms
but the
judges.
Senate has got to confirm that. They
judges.
confirm the judges, and they confirm, 1,000 other positions as well.
And the cabinet, too, right?
Yes, including the cabinet. So right now, we have won the Senate. There's no question. We gained 3 seats. This happened pretty much the way we expected.
Right. Because
we said, look, West Virginia is going to go red because,
but we can have a few more pickups here. Especially
what the ones we got were West Virginia, then we got Montana, all right, finally got Tester out. I want to say a word about that. And then we picked up Ohio. Sherrod Brown got defeated in Ohio.
But I'm waiting for Pennsylvania.
We may get what is Pennsylvania showing right now? Look how close that is. 48.9, Dave McCormick. He's the one we want to win. 48.5. Now, Bob Casey. All right, let's say something about Pennsylvania and about Montana. Pennsylvania. We knew Bob's father.
Yes.
Right? Governor Bob Casey.
The Supreme Court decision. Planned
Parenthood versus Casey. That's right.
His father,
Casey,
who was so pro-life.
He was a great man. I remember. Do
you remember when
being with him?
They wouldn't let him speak at the Democratic convention.
That's what really started.
Was when, because there used to be a lot of pro-life Democrats.
There used to be.
And that was the beginning of the end.
That's
right.
The
pro-life Democrats.
They did not let him. I mean, here you've got a governor of a major swing. Pennsylvania's been a swing state for a long time.
Yes.
Pennsylvania, governor, Democrat, and they wouldn't let him speak at the Democrat National Convention. Why? Because he was pro-life.
Right.
This was 1992, the Clinton election year. And it was like he and I talked about that. He wrote about that in his book. He has an autobiography, Fighting for Life.
But now here's his son.
Now his son
gets in as a senator, and he's been there for a long time.
Runs on the name.
He runs on his father's name.
Right, like the Kennedys,
Yeah, but he doesn't vote with us for life. Not like his dad.
No.
So, his dad must be spinning in his grave.
Well,
but
it's
okay,
sad.
Senior Bob, we might have justice for you tonight.
Yeah,
your son will have to retire.
Exactly. No, he should be out.
He should be out. To me, that will be another hurrah.
Yeah, that's right.
Last night when Trump got Pennsylvania, I was cheering in my living room.
Yeah.
Well, if Casey gets defeated, I'll be jumping up again.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So then I wanted to say a word about Montana because John Tester, he should have been out of there 6 years ago. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I mean, we've been active in elections since 1992.
Right.
But John Tester was one of the targets 6 years ago. And some of our own people, our own staff, we were saying, hey, we got to send some of our pastoral team into Montana. Oh, why Montana? It's a red state. No, the Senate. It's the Senate race.
Right.
Montana is not like a gigantic, media market like Florida, New York. No. We could have done it with a little more pushing. We could have had him out 6 years ago. But this time we did it. It was in our favor this time.
Goodbye.
Nevada is tight. Look at that.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
So Sam Brown is the one we want in there. He's very, very, very slightly ahead right now. These are live maps, by the way.
Right.
But it's still 86% reporting. It's like, come on. Again, there's a couple of counties there where you've got this corruption. It's like, come on, guys, get the job done, please.
Right.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
And then you've got Arizona, Cary Lake. Now that's not as close. No, that's not as close. But we'll see what happens.
Outside
well, because only 60, again, Arizona.
Right.
The corruption is unbelievable.
Right.
So 67% report. Come on, it's the day after Election Day. Hurry up, guys.
I know.
I don't understand.
Well, I hope we hear before I go to bed tonight, because I just would like to just get this finalized. I really would. And of course, the House was still waiting for some more seats.
Well, we got now, let's look at the House. So this is very important that we've got. And so you see, it says in the middle of that line, 218 for the majority.
Right.
We know we've got the majority. What's happening now is that the counts are being finalized. So we have 205 finalized. They only have 190. We've gained a seat so far. They've lost one. But we're going to get the rest of these finalized soon. And, we'll see how long it actually ends up taking. But we do have the House, and that's a great plus, as we were explaining before.
And we're still waiting in Alaska, it looks like, right?
Looks like it.
Wow.
All right. The ballot measures. Now, we're not going to use this map. We're just going to talk ourselves about the ballot measures. We can go back.
Well, here in Florida, bravo. We defeated Amendment 4.
Yes.
And there's two reasons why we did it. Because in Florida, you have to have a 60% threshold.
There were two reasons. That was a big one right there. Right.
That was huge.
Because these other states was 50% plus one vote.
And that's why
Colorado's 55%.
Yeah.
So it should be higher anyway
and also too, we had a great coalition we were part of the different groups working together, getting the word out. You spoke
all over the state. Well, we were broadcasting. First of all, we were broadcasting every single day.
Right.
We were doing meetings of pro-life leaders.
And I did interviews of our Silent No More Women that we turned into 1-minute spots.
We had spots that we were distributing to the states.
All the states.
Right.
We were.
No, we had right in this. In fact, we had the first coalition meeting in this very building.
We did. Yeah.
Like more than a year before, when it was first announced.
Exactly.
We had people here from all over Florida, and we said, look, this is Amendment 4. Let's talk about it.
We also had Governor DeSantis, who was very vocal.
That's the other big factor.
The big factor. He was very, very vocal. He didn't stop for a minute about it.
Oh, he was doing press conference with doctors. He was just.
And he was all over the state too, speaking.
Yeah,
he really was. So we're blessed.
We got it done. We expected that we would stop that, and we did. Here in Florida, Amendment 4.
Right.
South Dakota succeeded as well.
Also.
They had theirs was called Amendment G. And by the way, the other thing we did, as many of our viewers right now know, we had a 9-part special talking about all 10 states that had these ballot measures. We went into depth.
Yeah.
And that was an educational effort. So we included South Dakota. We were talking about that in detail. We have a lot of good friends there in the pro-life movement.
Right.
And praise God, they defeated Amendment G. Then there was another success. I was just in Nebraska a few weeks ago, as you know.
And the pro-life
I was with the governor there. They had a competing amendment. That was a unique situation. They had 2 amendments, pro-life, pro-abortion.
And the pro-life one.
The pro-life one prevailed.
That's great.
So now in the Nebraska Constitution will be a provision that says babies in the 2nd and 3rd trimesters of pregnancy may not be aborted. They're going to be protected.
And to switch the channel just for a minute from abortion to euthanasia, there was
another success.
Success. It was in West Virginia, and this is the amendment that won, and it put in their constitution, prohibiting individuals, doctors, or other healthcare providers in West Virginia from participating in assisted suicide, euthanasia, or mercy killing of a person. The proposed amendment would not apply to the prescribing of medication to provide pain relief for dying individuals. So it's not, or withholding or withdrawing life-sustaining treatment. So it's not getting into that, but it's stopping them. It's in their constitution now.
That's right.
No mercy killing, No euthanasia, none of that.
That was a nice plus too.
That
a good
really
pro-life
was.
plus. Now, Nevada was one of the states that had one of these amendments, but the thing we have to keep in mind about that is that even though it passed, it doesn't get implemented because they have to vote on it again in 2026 in the midterm.
There we go.
We have 2 years.
We have 2
To
years
convince Nevadans
yes.
that it's not a good idea. And that
Right.
leads to a key point I want to make. This is one of the most important points of the evening. 6 other states passed these amendments. Now, in some of them, honestly, they're already totally pro-abortion states. Colorado,
Right.
Maryland,
Right.
New York.
New
What
York.
in the world do you expect, right?
Right.
What do you world do you expect? The worst one was Missouri. You were there. You were out in Missouri yourself and working with them on this. We were working with them on this. Because Missouri protects the babies from conception, and now they're all the way in the other direction. But you see, that's why these things are not going to last. You know, let me express a confidence that I have about all this, and also I want to express a confidence, and I want to express an action item. You know how people talk about the law can't get ahead of culture; it can't get too far ahead of culture.
Right.
If you passed prohibition. Why did prohibition not work? You know, what if you tried today to pass a law against alcohol consumption? It wouldn't work.
Right.
Because it's too out of step with the reality of the culture, right? Mm-hmm. Law cannot get too ahead of culture. Otherwise, what happens? You end up undermining the respect people have for the law because they're going to say, this is ridiculous. Okay. That's what these people, these pro-abortion people, are doing with these amendments. They are putting the law way out of step with the culture. What I mean by the culture, this was my article yesterday in the Gateway Pundit. The American people are not and never have been for unrestricted abortion.
No.
The American people want reasonable limits on abortion.
Right.
Missouri and some other states want complete prohibition of abortion. They want it. They voted for it. So what do you think is going to happen if you just impose on people, not just by law, but by constitution, these radical positions? It's not going to stick. It's not going to work. And that's the good side of this. People might not realize that. They obviously don't realize that right now because the other side is very good at deceiving people. They get them to vote for these amendments. We've been dealing, listen, people shouldn't think, of course, and you listen, we've been dealing for years and years with this experience of amendments going the wrong way.
Let's just use Missouri for an example.
Yeah.
The pro-life community there could try to have another amendment to get rid of
this is what I'm getting to. We have got, listen, we are a strong movement, right? Most of the states, we've got half the country where the states are moving in a pro-life direction, protecting the baby, like here in Florida.
Right.
The last couple of years, we increased the protections 15 weeks and now 6 weeks.
We have the heartbeat law. You know?
Okay, here's what I'm saying. One of the things they tried to do in Missouri was to require, and they had a court battle about this, that, listen, we have so many pro-life laws in Missouri. Why don't we tell the voters exactly how this amendment is going to affect those pro-life laws? So they see clinic safety regulations, limits on taxpayer funding, parental involvement, informed consent. All of these they're actually voting against all. Tell them what they're voting against. No, they don't want to tell them. Because the other side knows the only way they can get these things passed is to hide the truth about what they actually do. So what should people do now? What we should do now? We just continue what we were doing. You were educating people about how bad this amendment is. Why should you stop doing that now? In fact, now that if it's passed, you have even more reason to educate them about what it does. Show them how out of step it is with your beliefs and convictions, because that lays the groundwork for doing what? Repealing it.
Oh, that's true. They can repeal it.
Well, you have to,
right?
And this is what I want to say to you, brothers and sisters in the audience. For those you got this problem now in Arizona, where Prop 139 passed. They got Arizona. You got Colorado. You got Maryland. You got Missouri, which we're discussing now. You got Montana and New York. Right? We stopped it in South Dakota, Nebraska, and Florida. Great. Nevada has to wait 2 years. But in those 6 other states, what are we supposed to do now? You continue pushing the message, the education. You show people how bad these things are. You educate, to lay the groundwork for something that, and we're going to do this, and we're going to announce, and I'm going to invite everybody who's watching now, go to our main website, endabortion.us, and sign up at the top of the website for our emails, because we are pushing on this. We are starting today, and we're going to have the leaders on the phone tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to have the state leaders on the phone of these 10 states. We're going to celebrate the victories. We're going to talk about the problems. We're going to have the national leaders on the phone with them. Tomorrow, we're going to have this private strategy meeting of the leaders. Okay, this is one of the things we've been doing all throughout this election cycle, et cetera. But here's my point. We are launching, starting today, that we are going to repeal these nasty amendments that have gotten into these constitutions. We're going to take them back out. The other side thinks they're so smart. Oh, we're going to put them in. Oh, this is great. This is great. Guess what? We're going to take them out.
Right.
That's it.
And I have to say a word for my New Jersey friends. We're going to help you guys too. Because even though you already have it in your Constitution for a year or two already, we can help them repeal it too.
Well, we got Ohio, Michigan.
Ohio,
Michigan.
And New Jersey.
We're going to get them out.
Yeah.
We got to get them out.
This could be a whole mantra, that like a battle cry.
Yes.
Repeal.
Repeals
because the deal. That's what we're going to say. Repeals the deal.
Because it's in, see, here's the thing. The reason, it goes going back to my reasons for confidence.
Right.
We're not just talking about a policy here. We're talking about life and death. We're talking about abortion. This is not, you can have policies that you don't agree with. Oh, okay, we could tolerate a policy we don't like too much. We work around it. But this is fundamental, right? It goes against the very principles of not only of America, but of civilization and of our humanity. You're killing babies? No. It's too basic to allow. And so we're gonna go against it. So hallelujah. We should celebrate. This is a celebration.
Putting my hat back on.
This is friends, take some time, or we're already talking about all the kind of work we still have to do. But celebrate.
Wear it from now over the weekend, make some of these, others feel a little uncomfortable, saying, oh, well, we're just celebrating.
Did you see the comments today on social media? Oh my gosh. By the way, so Andrea Jean is saying something very important. Oh, yeah, and Joseph, Liz Cheney must be steaming. Yeah. Oh, Liz. See, we defeated her again today. Yeah. She and her father think they're so smart, go off with Kamala over there.
That's right.
But look at what Andrea's saying, because he is going to do this. We hope Trump releases all of the old people in jail for pro-life work. Now, these are friends of ours. Janet and I know these people.
Oh, forget it.
Cal Astro.
The one person I'm really praying to get out real soon is Joan Andrews.
Joan, our friend Joan.
We've known Joan for decades, okay? And Joan Andrews Bell is such a beautiful woman. She's a grandmother. And, brothers and sisters, back, what year was it when she spent 18 months in solitary confinement?
That's right. I think it was 1990s.
Yeah.
Like that.
This is not her first time in jail for standing up for the unborn.
No.
But we're going to look forward to, I do believe that once he's in office, I think President Trump can issue a pardon.
Well, I was with him. And he was giving a talk, and he was talking about the pro-life prisoners, calling them out by name. And he said, don't worry, hold on, guys, we're going to get you out of there. But what he said he's going to do, he has to follow a process too.
Right.
He's going to have what he said he was going to do specifically, because unlike Kamala, he's very specific, about what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. He said, I'm going to have the Department of Justice right away under new leadership. You're going to have a new attorney general, obviously. They're going to review the cases right away. He's going to tell them, review them immediately and let's look at them, because obviously you review the cases, you're going to see they're what? They're unjust.
They're
unjust. These people didn't do anything wrong.
No.
And you know what? President Trump knows a thing or two about being accused of something that you did nothing wrong about.
Exactly.
So
he knows how that goes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm just so excited. I want to take a few more of these comments. Thank you for hanging on there. Lauren Handy Charity is saying we know Lauren very well.
We know Lauren.
Lauren, God bless her. She's so spiritual and and
Lauren did used to do when she was not in jail. She was tirelessly in front of the Planned Parenthood.
We'd be praying there with her all the time.
Yeah, but she would save a lot of babies and help moms not choose abortion. She's incredible.
Truth will set you free. I like that name. We need to continue, he or she says, we need to continue our prayers for President Trump. He is fighting against the evil kingdom. He needs our support and prayers.
Yes.
Yeah, and we need to pray that the process now, remember, yesterday we elected the electors.
Right.
That's what we did yesterday.
Yes.
The electors vote in December. Congress certifies in January. We got to pray for the integrity of the process. We prayed for the integrity of the voting process, the ballots.
Now
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
We got to pray for the integrity of the rest of the process too. You know what the other side is going to do? I remember when they did this in 2016. They try to pressure the electors. You can't vote for Donald Trump. Don't do that. That's why what Kamala said today, we got to hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
We want a peaceful transition, cooperative transition. Good, Kamala. Except that you don't have to say that to us. Say it to your own people in the radical left wing of your party,
right,
and get them to stop the nonsense.
Well, and on January 6th, she's going to be sitting there. She has to.
She has to be the one to certify the results.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, that's part of the job.
I know.
So, yes. And let's see if there are any other comments that are. Thank you, Kathy. You are both fantastic. Thank you for sharing such a great knowledge. Yes, well, it's a joy to talk about this. Yes, Lola, look at what Lois is saying. Did you see? I was just going to bring this point up. Did you see some of the libs screaming? They look demonic. Yeah, and because they are. They are. Some of these people they're just demonic. But you know what, Janet? Did you see some of the comments this morning on social media? I didn't spend a lot of time looking at this stuff because we had work to do.
But there was some funny
stuff. But it was some people saying, I'm just going to get under my covers, and I think I'll stay under the covers for the next 4 years. and they were saying things like, oh my gosh, my children are about to get up in a few hours. I was reading these like at 7 a.m. My children are going to get up, and how am I going to explain to them
happened?
How terrible what happened to America? Why should I even go to work today? I can't take it. I don't wish pain on anybody. But you know what? They brought this on themselves. We could have had a country where, there's rational, reasonable, a conversation between parties. But these people radicalized themselves.
Right.
They're the Democrat Party. They went off the rails. We're talking about, look what you're wearing. We're talking about the things that we all grew up with, understanding what America is, what the flag stands for, what freedom means. Come on. By the way, our producer, Rob, here, if you have the, I don't know if, is God Bless the USA, the new version of it, possible to show when we finish?
Are we allowed?
We got a new, we are. Okay. We got a new version of, I always love seeing him, Lee Greenwood.
Yeah,
I was with him over the summer. Well, I was with him during the convention. Yeah, we've both been with him. This man is one of the most, you could see it when he's singing his song and everything. One of the most gracious human beings you ever want to meet. Just gracious and just deep in his kindness and his patriotism. And but he released a new version of God Bless the U. You might not have even seen it.
I probably haven't seen it yet.
It's
all right, so we'll have it at the end.
I think Rob can get it.
He's going to get it.
Yeah.
But, before we go to, I want to thank you all, of course, all the work you've done with us. But also, too, if you'd like to help us out, because, we have a lot of bills now.
Oh, my gosh. It's terrible.
Gosh.
It's terrible.
The email blast, all the extra money we poured into this election, we certainly could use some help. So if you don't mind going to prolifegift.com, and, of course,
ProLifeGift, ProLifeGift.org,
ProLifeGift.org. All gifts, of course, are tax deductible. We're a 501c3. And guess what? We're not supported by the church. No, Pope Francis doesn't give us any money. None do the bishops. If anything, they attack us. So really, we could use your help. ProLifeGift.org. We would love if you could help us out with any small donation, whatever you can help us out. We got a lot of vendors we have to pay now. So
this is a real vindication also with the people know. I don't dwell on it because we got work to do, but you mentioned about the attacks from the church, and I was joking before, where the heck is my collar? But the point is that I consider last night a vindication because one of the main issues they made with me that some of these people in the church authority didn't like my support for Donald J. Trump.
I know.
And it's like now I'm looking at them, I'm standing up looking at them and saying, okay, all right, you really want to stick with that? You really want to stick with that? Look, and I think as a final prayer of thanks, we're going to show you this beautiful song. Just again, brothers and sisters, and Janet, think about what we have witnessed here. Think about all the things they threw at this man.
Right.
No president has experienced anything like this, right?
Nope.
They spied on his campaign. They ridiculed him when he first came down that elevator. Oh, he can never be
Escalator.
president. He can never be president. Remember? Yeah, the escalator.
Right.
They spied on his campaign.
Yep.
They invented the Russia collusion hoax, the Clinton campaign, paying for a fake dossier that got a FISA warrant to spy on people. Okay. They tried to slow down and obstruct the work of his administration. They tried to pressure the Electoral College not even to vote for him. They boycotted his inauguration and they rioted.
And they two impeachments that didn't fail.
Two impeachment hoaxes. They were hoaxes.
Hoaxes.
They invented
Mhm.
invented wrongdoings. They couldn't even identify what they were talking about. And Russian collusion hoax, impeachment number one, impeachment number two. Then they deplatformed him from, he can't be on Twitter, and they banned his account, Twitter, Facebook, all these other social media platforms. What does he do? He starts his own social media platform. They try to, remember with the financial, $500 million fines, and they try to ruin him financially, attack his business. That didn't work. Then all the convictions and the indictments, 94 indictment, 34 convictions, sham communist show trial in New York. Remember, they tried to take him off the campaign?
Not one, but two assassination attempts.
They tried to take him off the campaign trail, sit him in a courtroom for weeks on end, try to throw him in jail, try to take him off the ballot. They tried to throw him off the ballot, right?
And they didn't win.
Nothing worked. Remember, he joked that, hey, give me a few more indictments because every time you do this, I go up in the polls.
Up in the polls, yeah.
And now look what happened. And then, of course, there was, is he going to run again? Oh, if he's going to run again, but is he going to beat DeSantis? Oh, he's going to run, but is he going to beat Nikki Haley? Oh, but is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? Is this going to work? Is that going to work? Nothing worked to stop him. And now, not only did he keep rising in the polls, look where we are now. He got elected.
I know.
There is no story in American history like this. One of the books, you remember the book, Dick Morris, one of his close advisors, wrote the book, The Return. President Trump's the great 2024 comeback. This book came out a couple of years ago, The Return. Last night, Dick must have been very, very content with the fact that his book was completely vindicated and came true. He knew, he called it right from the beginning. This man is going to come back. It's going to be a great comeback in 2024. I want to urge you to read that book. It's called The Return by Dick Morris. You're going to love it now because you read it now in the light of the fact that, look, it just happened. It just happened. Against what other story in American history or world history has this kind of a comeback theme? It's unbelievable.
I really do think we do need to keep him in prayer constantly because there's still that threat out there. You don't know what crazy person is going to try to
these people don't stop their attacks. Yeah.
You know, the only good thing now as a president-elect, the Secret Service will be beefed up then, the automatic, how much protection he gets.
Well, like Dan Bongino points out, the amount of protection you have shouldn't depend just on what your title is. Right. It should depend on the level of threat against you. Exactly. And this man is off the charts. It's off the charts. So we're going to pray. Okay. Take our hats off.
No. Yes.
Lord, we are just delightful today. We should be up on dancing on top of this table right now for what has happened. We thank you, Lord, and we are filled with that spiritual joy, that sweet savoring of this victory, and we want to give ourselves the time and the opportunity just to think back on all the different slings and arrows launched against. It's not because, like President Trump says, it's not that they're going after him; they're coming after us. He's just standing in their way. And Lord, we thank you that He has continued to stand up for us. He is not going to be silenced because He's not going to let us be silenced. And this is the kind of man now we have again. as our leader in this country. So we praise you for that. We echo that psalm of thanksgiving. Your mercy endures forever. The favors of the Lord are not exhausted. The favors of the Lord to America are not exhausted. The favors of the Lord to President Trump are not exhausted. They are renewed again each day. So we thank you for that, Lord. We pray your protection upon him, and most importantly, upon the nation that he once again will lead. And we sum up all our prayers and praises now in the words Jesus gave us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Remember, like President Trump says, this is the greatest political movement in American history. This country does not belong to those who hate it. It belongs to you and me, to us. And the greatest days of America are indeed yet to come. Janet, thanks so much for the conversation tonight.
Glad to be here.
What a joy, all the elections we've worked on
That's
together with
right.
our Priests for Life team. No other group within the Catholic Church certainly has been more explicit about the demands of politics on people of faith over these years, and we're proud of it.
That's right.
We're proud of it. We're proud of it.
And thank you, brothers and
We're going to
sisters.
show you God Bless the USA, the new version. And friends, once again, go to endabortion.us. Listen, time for celebration and time for commitment to more action. Endabortion.us. Give us your email. We want to keep you posted on exactly, in the coming days, in fact, I'm going to issue some pro-life strategy memos. We're getting the leaders together. We're going into a new chapter of American history, new chapter of the pro-life movement. We're going to get the job done. Now let's watch our friend Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA. Take care. Good night, friends.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. And thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no
a King board member of Priests for Life. More money is being spent in America to kill babies in the womb than to save them. Together, we need to change that, and today I want to invite you to support our work at Priests for Life. Why ours rather than other groups? Because we have a unique team that helps lead in every arena of the fight against abortion, and we activate the churches where you find people who are most likely to get involved in that fight. To awaken a pastor about abortion is to awaken thousands of people he serves. We do not receive church funding or government grants. We rely on you for individual donations. We have a very high evaluation among charities and top security on our donation site, prolifegift.org. You can go there for a one-time gift or to become a monthly donor, or you can call us at 321-500-1000.
Priests for Life, saving